Hi everybody, welcome back. My name's Claire. I'm going to do another flag or another symbol tonight. I've done a Union Jack. I've done an American flag. I wanted to do the Ukrainian flag. I've got some really good friends from the Ukraine. And I asked them about their flag, and obviously their flag is blue and yellow, two big panels. So with fluid art, I wanted to do something slightly more involved. So I got chatting to them, and it turns out that they've got this really beautiful symbol, Ukrainian symbol. I'll include a picture of it here to show you. So that's what I'm going to represent with this next piece of fluid art. So it's going to be two phases. So the first phase I'm going to do now is the blue base. I'm going to do a ribbon pour with some beautiful blues, let it dry, and then I'm going to create a stencil for the yellow symbol. I'm going to have to paint it white first because the yellow will never show over the blue otherwise, and then do some more fluid art for the Ukrainian symbol over the top, probably with some cells in, so a complete contrast to the ribbon pour base. So really excited because I think that the symbol is just beautiful, yeah, really excited to get started. So let's go. So I've got here a lovely selections of blues and a white. I've got a metallic blue, which is by Dale Rowney, Graduate Acrylic. I've got Phthalocyanine blue, which is Royal and Langnickel. I've got Cerulean blue, again Royal and Langnickel. I've got Manganese blue by Amsterdam. I've got, what's this one? Ah, this one is the metallic blue, but I've added a bit more white. I felt like I needed a slightly lighter blue. This one is Prussian blue, again by Dale Rowney, and then some Montmartre white. So the consistency, mixed with PVA glue and water pouring medium, I've mixed roughly 2 to 1. So 2 parts pouring medium to 1 part paint. It's really quite runny. It leaves a trace only for a split second. It's just really nice and fluid. Because I want it to run nicely on the canvas. I want to try and make it quite straight, to get some quite straight lines with my ribbon pour. That feels slightly thicker actually, but still nice and runny. So I'm going to layer up. I haven't quite decided how many cups to layer up yet. I like an odd number, but I don't know if 5 is too many for this. I think I might layer up 3. See, no, I'm going to do 4. 4 seems like the right amount for this amount of paint. So this is the order I'm going to go in, except I don't want white first. Where can I put my white? Let's put my white in there. And actually what I will probably do is layer each cup slightly differently. It's reasonably runny, so I'm going to pour the paint down the side of the cups. Using a 40 by 50 centimetre canvas. So ribbon pour, I'm going to just do lovely ribbons of paint, 1 cup at a time. I'm going to vary the thickness of the ribbon, so to start with they'll be quite thick, then on top I'll try and drizzle some thinner ones. Now, I didn't really mean to go across. I went across then, and I've got a big lump. Unfortunately, I saw a few lumps go in when I was pouring the paint into the cups. I'm not going right to the edges of the canvas here, as you can see, and that's because I'm going to be tilting it off. So there's absolutely no need to. I'd rather get a better design in the middle, concentrate on what I'm doing in the centre, Right, quite happy with that. I think what I like most is the balance of the colours. I didn't want it to be too dark. I didn't want it to be too light. It's quite a mid-blue on the flag. But so that's what I wanted, but I also wanted to create some contrast. So I've added in the correct colour, but darker and lighter versions of it. Right, one thing I need to make sure I do is these edges, because the top and the bottom I always forget. So I'm just going to dab it. I'm sure the paint will run over it, but I'm just going to dab this top and bottom edge just to make sure that there's some paint on it. Right, so ribbon port, I'm going to just tilt it now. And the idea is that I try and tilt it straight so that these lines will all remain quite straight. Having said that, I need to sort this out. I've got a big gap here. And that won't necessarily get covered. Let's add, there's a bit more paint in here. I'm back. It's about 2 hours later and I keep looking at this and keep thinking, actually, I just don't think it's quite right for my base. I'm actually not sure I'm happy with with all the lines and how structured it is. The bits that I really like are these beautiful little bits with the cells. So I'm actually wondering whether I've made a mistake and actually the straight lines are not going to be right. Maybe what I should be doing is a more detailed background and then a really plain yellow symbol on top. So I'm not happy, so I'm going to play. So I'm going to use some coconut milk hair serum and I'm going to put some cells in it and just see what happens. I might well regret this, but I'm just not happy with it as it is. So I'm thinking just doing some sort of cells in lines across the painting to see what happens. Right, I'm actually much happier. There's something so much softer about this now, less stark. So I think the colours all kind of merge better now and blend as opposed to it being such stark contrast between the lines. Some cells have expanded really nicely, some cells haven't. So you've got a real mixture, but the overall effect I love, absolutely love it. I just think it works better. It's going to be a slightly softer, more uniform. I think it's the uniformity of it. It's more uniform now as opposed to dark blue lines and bright white lines. Yeah, I think the cells at this end will certainly continue to expand a little bit more. This end, I think they're probably fully expanded now. There's some larger cells there. But I just think this is going to work better for the base. So I'm much happier. I think I need to really think how I'm going to do the yellow because I think it needs to be quite simple because this is quite a detailed background now. So I'll be back when it's dry. So the painting dried really well. So what I wanted to do next was transfer the Ukrainian symbol onto my painting. So I'm sticking down some transfer paper. I think you use it for putting designs or patterns onto fabric. It's white and slightly chalky. So I've put that face down onto the painting. I've cut out or printed out a symbol and I'm just sticking it on. I'm just taking ages measuring it because I want to make sure that it's in exactly the right place and exactly in the centre. So I'm measuring left, right, top, bottom to make sure it's where I want it to be. And then what I'm doing now is going over every single line with a pencil, so that and the curves here, so that the white chalky transfer paper the image will be transferred onto the painting underneath. So now lifting it up, removing it, and you can faintly see there the white lines. Not very good on this from the angle. So I decided to just paint straight away with the yellow, but the yellow is transparent, and as I thought, the blue just showed through far too much. So I abandoned that. I'm now painting white over the symbol. So the idea is that will then dry. I can then paint over with the yellow afterwards, and the yellow will then show through a lot better, which is what I'm doing now. I've added a little bit of orange in as well. I wanted just a tiny bit of variation within the yellow, but not too much. So where there's that darker yellow in the middle, I actually end up going over that again with the brighter yellow. But it's nice just to have a little bit of variation, not just one flat yellow colour. I'm now painting on a really intricate design. I'm using some gold, some really sparkly, delicate gold. I don't want the gold to stand out too much. I just want it to blend in with the yellow. And the design I'm painting on is it's very similar to some of the Ukrainian designs. They have some really beautiful, intricate, detailed patterns and designs in their fabric, in clothing. And so I've just tried to imitate that. I've just tried to create that. So it's just not a plain, boring yellow. There's a little bit of detail to it. I'm next going to create a border. So I've used some green frog tape. I've put that all the way around the edge to create a little border. I'm painting it with gold, but I didn't like the gold. So you'll see in a minute, I actually then painted over the top with dark blue, and it just brought the whole thing to life a lot better, a lot more contrast than with the gold that you're seeing here. And now I'm just removing that green frog tape, and it leaves a beautiful crisp edge of paint. And it doesn't leave any stickiness on the painting. It's really good tape to be using for this. So it's now finished, really happy with it, so pleased. So lots to explain. So obviously I did the base, really happy with the base, with the little cells. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to zoom in then. Lots of little beautiful little cells. The border was gold, it didn't look right. It had to be dark blue. So I repainted it dark blue and then did a little outline there with gold, so it looks a bit more shadowy. I painted some gold over the top of the yellow. It's not any old gold, it's the Deco Art 24 karat gold. So look, can you see? It's absolutely beautiful. It's the sparkliest gold that I've ever seen. It is beautiful. So the idea is that it's subtle, you can see the gold, but it doesn't, I don't think it detracts from the yellow. And the reason I did that pattern was because when I looked up Ukrainian symbols and patterns, there was a lot of very detailed patterns. So I've basically adapted some of the patterns that I've seen online to represent the Ukraine and added it on there. So it's just another element, another sort of dimension to it. Around all of the yellow, I've added a black border just to sharpen it up, just to make it much crisper. So yeah, it's a really interesting design. I love the symbol. I just love the geometry of it. What do you think? I I really enjoyed doing it. What do you think? Do you think it works? What would you have done the yellow in the same way? As I said, I was going to do fluid art on both parts, but ended up only doing it on the base. So I'm happy with that. But what do you think? Let me know. Great. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you for spending time watching, and please do hit the thumbs up button if you like it. Take care. Bye.